Hi, it's Mazina from the Pagan Pound Shop, and this week we are looking at how to use a pendulum and what they can actually be used for. So let's get started. So pendulums are a form of dowsing and divination. It's been used for hundreds of years, and you don't necessarily need a pendulum that looks like this in order for it to be one. You can get metal pendulums. Some people use their necklace. You can get inventive with what a pendulum could mean for you and what it looks like to you as well. But these are, I guess, some of the more used types of pendulums. I mean, crystal pendulums have become very popular. I'd definitely say over the last sort of 30 to 40 years, there's been an increase in them. And you also double up with the energy on this as well, because you have got the crystal as well as the purpose and the act of the dowsing itself. So your pendulum will become part of you, much like how tarot readers have their cards. It becomes attuned to your energy. So how do you pick a pendulum? Well, how long is a piece of string? Usually a good sign is when you're shopping for one, if one starts to move by itself when you come over. That pendulum has chosen you. But if you like the look of a particular pendulum, you can hold it and see if you get anything from it. It might stay completely still. You might not necessarily feel anything. Now, the feelings that you're looking for, they do differ from person to person. But some people feel a tingling in their hand, in the palm. Some people might feel it go really hot, really cold. You may even feel it in your solar plexus in your body that you're connecting with this particular tool. And then from there, you can ask a test question, such as, is my name XYZ? And if the pendulum says yes, and your name is that, then it's answered your question correctly. And you can keep asking it test questions to see how you get on with it, and more importantly, to figure out what its yes or no could be. And again, this differs from pendulum to pendulum. Some people have a big straight line for yes, others have a big circle, and then the no will be obviously the opposite of whatever the yes is. If your pendulum doesn't move, it's unsure, it's not picking up on anything, you may have to rephrase your question. And the maybe can be a little bit of movement, but where you can't quite figure out where it's going. Now, pendulums, yes, they are used for yes and no questions, absolutely. That's probably the most popular, sorry, pendulums. That's probably the most popular way that they are used. It's just to figure out a little bit of quick guidance, really. And from there, I guess you can elaborate with a set of tarot cards to see what the other meanings of the question have, and how you can sort of elaborate on that yes or on that no, go more in depth with them. But actually, one of my favourite ways of working with pendulums is for house clearing. Now, when we move into a new property, sometimes the energy of the previous owners can be there. If it is an old house, perhaps there could be some paranormal activity going on. There could be a number of reasons as to why you feel your home needs a good spiritual deep clean. Now, of course, you can go through this method by burning herbs, burning incense, etc. But a pendulum is very good at picking up where the particular points in the house need cleansing, where the energy is stuck, where it's built up, where it's stagnant. And how you would do this is really very simple. Just walk around the room very slowly and see how your pendulum behaves. And ask the question, does this area need cleansing? Is there something in this area that I need to be aware of? And make a note of that as you are going round. And then from that point, you can assess and analyze which tools, furthermore, are going to help get rid of the energy that is there. And fingers crossed, help you have a happier feeling home with less heaviness. That's personally the way that I like to use pendulums. I like them for navigating what needs done. Now, some people will find that it can take a little while to connect with your pendulum. So I wouldn't expect results straight away, because this is a matter of getting to know one another. The pendulum has to get used to you and you have to get used to it. You're not going to see something overnight, unless, of course, you are seasoned and maybe you're just looking to buy a new pendulum. Maybe you just fancy a different one to work with. But I would say be patient with them. Oh, look at that luster there on that moonstone. Isn't that lovely? Always get distracted by these. They're so pretty. But yes, those are a couple of ways that you can use your pendulums. In terms of cleansing them, as with any tool, you could just wave it over a candle. You could cleanse them by means of smoke, so incense, resin incense, just clearing it on there. If you have a selenite plate or bowl, or even just a long stick of selenite, pop it on there overnight and it will be good to go again. Remember that your pendulum is going to store a lot of energy. It's not only got your energy on it, it's got the energy of the questions you're asking, and if you're using it for any other purpose, the energy of whatever it is that you need to figure out, in terms of maybe cleansing or identifying where something bigger could be at work. So it is important to look after them and keep them cleansed, and also to keep them safe, maybe in a wee pouch like this. I'm a big believer in keeping your tools protected, and it's also a nice way of showing them a level of respect. The world of dowsing, of divination, is certainly not something to be taken lightly. But when you do work with it and you begin to understand it, it is one of the most rewarding forms of practice, because it can teach you so much about yourself and your path and where you're going and what you're good at, and also helping other people too. Lastly, I just want to point out that pendulums, in terms of healing, are also very useful. So for those who maybe do Reiki healing, work with the chakras, or just identifying where there's blocks in the body. I guess in a nutshell, you could say where there is energy, where there is life, which is everywhere, a pendulum will be good to use. It's such I don't want to say it's an underrated tool, because I don't believe that it is. I think it is very well used, but perhaps it's a misunderstood one. This isn't limited to yes and no. It's only limited to what you feel it's limited to. So if there's energy present and you want to understand it, grab a pendulum and see where that takes you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to us. We try to do weekly videos, and if you like anything that you see here, just hit the links in the description box. Have a lovely week, and I will see you next time. Celtic blessings.